Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. We have Kurt Roth, president and founder of SVF.
505.
505. I got the SVF.
You got the hard part.
Got the hard part. Well, I tell you, we've been doing this show for, you've been doing your show for 2 years, and things are changing, man. In all of it, in 1 year. I mean, new coaches and new things with NIL. So we have a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. And yeah, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to come on every week and talk to people about what we're doing. And we're grateful for that.
I tell you, it's been a great show. It's been fun. It's been fun to watch, and I've been part of it. It's been fun to me whenever you can't find somebody to come on. I'm the last second guy, but we've had some great conversations. So talk about the changes. Well, first of all, let's talk about the great year we had, okay? The positive things of last year.
We did a lot of great things. I mean, and I want to start with what always doesn't appear that good, but football, UNM football. We had a turnaround with Bronco Mendenhall in an attitude toward success, geared toward excitement, geared toward a whole new process. As a result of that, and it's unfortunate what happened with Bronco, no one saw that coming, but he left it in a good position attitude-wise, and it enabled us with a new AD, Fern Lovo, young, aggressive, to go out and hire a super coach. And Jason Eck was at the top of his field in the lower division. He's brought a real positive attitude. If you go out in town, you've probably seen him.
That's funny for just that. I saw him. I met him yesterday. He was at the Jeff Simbiato's golf tournament, the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl golf tournament yesterday, and got to speak to him for a few minutes. But
he's been everywhere. His staff is aggressive. The attitude's contagious, and he has a different approach, I think, than what was standard in this NIL transfer portal world, where instead of going out and getting guys who didn't play at West Virginia or Tech or Kansas, he's gotten guys at the lower level who played and were winners. So he's asking people to make a step up, and he's got the other guys. He's got a guy from Auburn, a guy from Cal, that type of thing. But the thrust is players, student athletes who have played at a slightly lower level and have been successful. So it's exciting. It's going to be exciting.
Well, I tell you, like you said, football, a lot of people were kind of, felt like it was misled a little bit with Bronco leaving. But, hey, you got a better job, got more from economics. It's the way the world is.
And I just think as an aside, I know a lot of people are angry, including people on my staff. Bronco did it for more than the money. He did it for family reasons. His aging mom is in the neighborhood. His family, his kids are up there. He's super tight, and I'm fine with his decision. And I love Coach Eck and his staff. We work on a regular basis with his team. The kids are great, and we're really excited. So football's in a good place. And from an economic perspective, that's the sleeping giant at UNM. That's been a negative cost-wise. It can be a positive with a few breaks and some success, and I look forward to the season.
Well, and then you had a great relationship with Patino, and you and I talked about it as soon as that opportunity. We didn't know how long we were going to have him, and it just happened that the right situation was for him and his family to leave, and he left the Lobos in a good situation.
It's funny you say that because yes, he did leave the Lobos in a good situation. In the era of the transfer portal, we went from beating Marquette after racing through 17 wins in the Mountain West, which when I went back, I was talking to the new staff about it. 17-3 is just insane. To beating Marquette soundly, to being up by 10 against Michigan State in the first half, to a week and a half later having no staff and 2 weeks later having no team. And yes, we were still in a good spot. I had to come on your show. I came on mine and said, look, we've established a level of success here, and we have the funds and the fan interest to maintain it from a from scratch. And I'll tell you, we can talk about it, it's speculation, but the team that Eric Olin and his staff has put together is really looking good.
Well, speak on his behalf a little bit. I mean, I know it was kind of I know you were concerned. You come in and do your show, and you're like, we would talk. Well, here's the top 5, and it looked like James Borrego was going to be the top candidate. And I actually was out the weekend watching one of his games in New Orleans, and I was hoping. I actually brought a jersey, hoping that maybe I'd be the first one to get to him. And he, after the game, he said, "No, I turned it down because I have one more shot at the NBA, and it's something I've wanted to do. And if I take this, I may never have that shot again."
Yeah, no, that was tough. I have met James on numerous occasions. I honestly believe from day one he was the front runner. It was his job if he wanted it. But basically what you just mentioned and intimated is his heart wasn't in it. He wanted that NBA. He lived that NBA life. Coming home would be great. It would have fit naturally. The whole thing was too good to be true in a sense. And he had to be committed to a whole different lifestyle, in essence, of coaching, a professional lifestyle, of recruiting, putting a staff together. I mean, the head coach in the NBA kind of disappears at the end of the season. Call me in August and show up and tell me who my roster is. Different lifestyle, just a whole different profession. So he bowed out fairly quickly.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, he was a personal friend of mine. I mean, I actually coached him and when he was in AAU with a guy named John Wisnett, a friend of yours, and got to know him very well. But you know what? We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk more about the future of the NIL.
Okay, a lot going on.
Go back, and there's a shot by Garcia, and already back on the board are the Sartans. 2 goals in 1 minute. The shot, of course, you got big old Justice Mason right in the middle there. They're gonna go for goal, and he's got it! Ryan Williams with a big goal.
And there's the shot and the score. Perfectly executed by Academy.
Oh, what a save by Mason. They'll just pop that one up. Header in! As the Chargers just piling on right now. I think that's Evan Chang on the far side.
Unofficial thought. Kicking it into space. It's in the area. Nice job. Kick good. It's gold. St. Pius gold, if you will. Off the rebound. Let me see if I can get the gold scored.
Side. Then they're going to chip it in, off the bar and in. And the Cleveland Storm strike next. Kicking into the wind somewhat. Ricker headed in, and that's the end of this one. It's Ricker who hits that one to Makai Garbarino. And you see the girls hop on top of her as the Hope Christian Huskies win this one in overtime. Ten and a half minutes into the second. It's been all them in this second half. Miloshovsky goes for goal! the sophomore Landon Milishewski. Up to Marceau. Marceau. One-on-one, Marceau! And there it goes! Centennial take their first state championship. Raphael Marceau. Sophomore takes it quickly, and Barley's got it again! Can Barella do it again? No! Alex Jackson wins it! The Chargers in 8 shootouts.
Honestly, normally I always go left, but this time I know Frank. I've known him since kindergarten. I think he's trying to get in my head. At the end, he was talking to me, and then I saw him at the last second go left. I decided to go right at the last minute. So yeah.
Welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Kurt Roth, president of SVF Foundation 505. Let's do it again. 505 SVF.
There you go.
There we go. We're doing it. We're moving along. I'm coachable. I'm finally coachable.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say. I believe I am. All right, so that's all that matters. So,
Oh, it's your show.
but hey, well, Kurt. I mean, you know, and I every day it seems like the rules are changing. I mean, it's almost on a monthly thing. Things have changed just in the last 3 months. And where is this headed? And what are your concerns at this stage?
Well, it's the groundwork was set back in October when in the House case, the judge basically said, I think we have the outlines of a settlement. Let's come back in April. And slowly but surely, up to like 3 weeks ago, then they said, okay, we're done. But basically, it's moved toward what I would call the revenue sharing model, which is just a way of saying that the schools now can share revenue earned from student athletes, ticket sales, TV, whatever other promotions they do, and share it with the student athletes, meaning pay them for their name, image, and likeness, which is an issue going forward. What does that really mean, name, image, and likeness? But as of July 1, under this settlement, the schools, including UNM, will now be able to take that under their control and work out contracts and NIL deals directly with the student athlete. So that's the transition period. As you know, we're 2 weeks away.
Well, is there going to be a limit set per person? I mean, or can everybody have whatever they can negotiate?
No, there's no per person. In theory, there's a salary cap, a revenue cap, which they came up with some formula, and no one in the world understands it, I don't think. But it arrived at a percentage, I believe it was 22% of revenue for the Power 4 schools, and that came to $20.5 million. So UNM could spend $20.5 million under the regulations. It's a budget line item. Most schools in the country, most Division I, especially basketball, if there's 300 plus Division I schools, only a handful, Power 4, maybe not all the Power 4, but most of them will spend $20.5 million on all sports. So how that impacts a sport like basketball, I mean, Alabama, the SEC dominated college basketball this year. There was no doubt about it. Florida wins the national championship. But if you're Alabama and you're going to be stuck at $20.5 million, what are you going to pay football players and what are you going to pay basketball players? And that's one of the issues we're seeing with the larger schools. They're telling some of their basketball programs that you have to dial back from where your boosters and your collective were paying. You have to cut it back. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But UNM is not affected. We're not close to that cap.
you know, and speaking just of UNM, I mean, and help me understand this, and maybe now you're working with UNM now. I mean, or trying to work things out where you're not an independent, or is that still part of?
Well, we're independent, but a close collaborator, and we have created over a year ago something called the Lobo Alliance. The nature of that collaboration is changing, and it'll be sort of a public announcement on the actual
I'm ahead of my time.
Day to day. A week or two now. It's in the works, where 505 SVF will be focused on fundraising, obviously, because we want to get to the $20.5 million. So all fundraising will continue, but our focus will be more of what would be the pure NIL, getting the student athletes out on social media, getting the student athletes affiliated with local corporations, getting the student athletes affiliated with charities and charitable events. And we had great success when we did those. Now that will be our focus. In the past, we were limited because we were primarily involved in fundraising. That burden shifts to the university with us collaborating, and I look for a very good future, a strong collaboration with UNM.
So you will be still negotiating the contracts mostly? I mean, is that?
We've negotiated the basketball contracts this year. Football has Bo Davidson, general manager. He's been primarily doing that. We are still involved in the development of what the university contract looks like. It's a much different format than 505's contract. And so we are involved in that. We're involved in dealing with agents still, dealing with the people who represent the students. Some of them, one of our ball players' dad is a top-notch attorney, so we dealt with him on the terms. But that is a work in progress. Deciding and putting us and myself in what position we have going forward is up in the air now and subject to our collaboration.
We're going to take a little break and come back and talk more. It's a very interesting topic, and thanks for your participation.
Okay, well.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hey, welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Kurt Roth, president of 505 SVF.
Yes.
Foundation. Hey, how's that? We're doing well. It takes a while. We got it correct, and I read all of this and see it's just, boy, this is, where does this end up? I mean, it just seems to change. Now they got going back to the settlement. I mean, there's. Now they got to figure out who's going to get all that money over the last.
Wow.
That's got to. They got to go do some research.
Well, they're supposed to distribute $2.8 billion to athletes who had been harmed by the restrictions on their ability to sell their name, image, and likeness.
So now you got to prove that you were harmed. I mean,
there's people in the class. It'll be a little ridiculous. And I think that we already see there are challenges to the settlement by groups of student athletes who weren't involved. Our collective in UNM wasn't part of the lawsuit. The NCAA offered schools who weren't part of the lawsuit to opt in to the settlement. UNM did. But there's some lawsuits already from a group of women because they think there's some Title IX issues in how the money will be distributed. There's some the smaller sports, the Olympic sports, are kind of being left behind in these financial areas. So there's a lot of work to do. The future is not clear, but we've been saying it along. Ultimately, the schools, because of all the money involved, would be the normal group to pay the student athletes. It didn't make sense to have a third party. So we're getting there, and it's rounding into shape.
Well, I hope so. It just really changes the dynamics. Also, changing the way fans are looking at the whole situation. I mean, it's getting, like you just said, a lot of players are making more money than if they were in the NBA right now.
Well, we've seen that. One of our favorite kids who came to us with his mom in the summer before his first year, JT Toppin, we sat down to sign a very relatively small NIL deal. And as we got into the contract signing, we were asking him questions, interviewing about his likes, his dislikes, and we got to a form that required his date of birth, and he told me his date of birth, and I looked at it and said, dude, you're not 18. You can't sign this contract. And his mom started to, what? She was like, almost ready to cry. And I go, Mom, you can sign it on his behalf. So we went from a 17-year-old JT Toppin to a kid who, in his second year, made over $1 million. So we don't have the exact figure. Was Big 12 Player of the Year, and recently signed a new deal, rumored at $4 million to play another year at Texas Tech. So on the good side, if you want continuity and you have the ability to retain your student athletes, you've got guys. JT Toppin would be gone. He wouldn't be playing college ball. Hunter Dixon wouldn't have played college ball last year. There's a plethora of these guys who would be gone. Not necessarily to the NBA, but to Europe. So they're staying here. And we were talking off camera, I think we're going to see now a migration from Europe of some of these guys who are in academies and receive substantial pay to come here because they can make more money. So I think it'll solidify. It raises the individual talent level of college basketball. Whether it raises the overall talent in the teams because they're not as cohesive, that's another question.
Well, that's coaching. So I mean, that's why they pay the coaches. That's their job.
Well, but it was easier if you're North Carolina and you have Michael Jordan for 4 years. You're Brad Daugherty for 4 years. You become a much better coach than if you turn around and you're Kansas and they make the tournament for the 9,000th year in a row and they lose half their roster. Bill Self's a great coach, but now he's got to go back and start. So the continuity on the rosters is changing. The continuity in the talent pool is remaining longer. And in that regard, the college game has better individual talent.
So if I have this question, what do you need from the community to keep yourself going and keeping UNM going?
We need involvement, and I've said this from the get-go. We're in a unique position here in New Mexico and at UNM. Football, basketball, men's basketball, and to a certain degree, women's basketball are what stand in the place of our pro teams. There are pro teams. We finished in the top 25 in the nation in attendance in the pit. We finished in the top 32 in college basketball by beating a Big East team. Those are pro-type teams. In the community, in the business community, individual community, basically you can buy stock in the Lobos and know for the first time that if it's $5 or $10 you donate a month or once, that money goes directly to the student athlete. It doesn't get involved in your license for your tickets or a development program you have no say in. You direct your money to go straight to the student athletes.
Well, time's ran out. Hey, thank you again, and
All right.
appreciate you coming up.
My pleasure. Anytime, Steve.